Taking a look at the impact of what is going on, indeed, in Russia right now. We've been following Vladimir Putin, but for my money, the far more revealing quotes, at least lately, have come out of Aleksandr Lukashenko. He is the president of Belarus, and he's been saying a lot of curious things that strike me as sort of like Tony Soprano-ish, saying that Belarus authorities will keep a very close eye on them, referring to the Wagner group, and that when it comes to Yevgeny Prigozhin, the leader of the soon-to-be disassembled Wagner group, his exile in Belarus is being closely examined. What to make of all of that with Rob Spalding, the Air Force Brigadier General, the Super CEO, the author of War Without Rules. General, what to make of what the leader of Belarus is saying? He's not quite in sync, and obviously has his eyes certainly on Prigozhin and on a lot of his cohorts who are now in Belarus.
Well, I think one of the things he is in sync with is Putin, who he's essentially acting as proxy for. You know, there's two things in politics, money and power. And I think this was about money. And clearly, Prigozhin got what he wanted. The problem is now the effectiveness of the Russian fighting forces. I think that's going to suffer.
So, General, when we talk about the Belarus president saying troops are now on full combat readiness when the Wagner group arrived, obviously that's probably wise. You know, you don't know what these guys are going to do, but I'm wondering if he is working in concert with Vladimir Putin himself. And Vladimir Putin has given him the go-ahead. If he does anything you don't like or we don't like, deal with it.
Well, you know, I don't know how many forces Prigozhin brought with him, if any, but if he did, one of the things that I'd be concerned about, both from the Belarusian president and Putin, is what are these guys going to do? They certainly don't want to go and work directly for the Russian military. They're going to be underpaid and under-resourced. They're already upset about being under-resourced. Now you add in being underpaid. So I think they have a real problem in trying to figure out what this professional mercenary army is going to do now that Prigozhin is left.
So that, General, raises a question I've been raising with prior guests on this channel and Fox News. If you're President Zelensky in Ukraine, you want to take advantage of this. And we're told right now that they've been making advances. This is coming from President Zelensky, quote, in all directions. So they are seizing on this void. But how do you think that's going to go?
As they should. The problem that I have, quite frankly, and it's been consistent throughout this war, is that if you push Putin into a corner, he's already wounded, clearly, politically. But if you push him in the corner, if it looks like catastrophic defeat in Ukraine, I think we're getting closer than we ever have been in the modern times to the use of a nuclear weapon. And everybody likes to say it's tactical, but no nuclear weapons are tactical. So my concern is what happens. Russia is still a formidable nuclear power, and I could see situations where we get into something where Putin decides that this is his only option or only out. And so that's the thing that really concerns me, because, you know, this is going to play out over a long period of time, but that could be a real accelerator to this conflict. And the problem is nobody knows where that might go.
No, we don't, and that's the big worry. We'll see how it pans out. General Spalding, always good having you. Thank you for your service to this country.
Thank you.